Hi, grade 12s. This is November 2018, question number 7, your prescribed homework. This is a solution. Okay, let's read this question. This is a typical type of question. Now, if you notice, November 2018 and November 2019, for the last 10 to 15 years, they always gave you triangles. But in 2019, they incorporated quadrilaterals and grade 10 knowledge of quadrilaterals. So please note, expect that end of this year. But this was a genuine 3D type of question like we explained in the first video. It says a pilot is flying in a helicopter at the point A with a height of h meters directly above the point D. So that's the kind of height of the pole, like the first question in our previous video. He noticed a strange object at the point B. So when he notices that, so he's got an angle of depression, he's looking down. So two things that you need to note, that this here, this here is your eye level, and this here is your angle of depression. We'll explain that just now. Okay, the pilot, the angle of depression from A to B is 30 degrees. He also determines that the control room at point C is 3h meters from A. Make it into a real life scenario. And then they're telling you that angle BAC is 2x, therefore double angle 2x, clearly using the trig of double angles. Point BCD on the same horizontal plane. This scenario shows the diagram below. 2 questions, 6 marks. Let's go through the first question. Right. Before we continue, let's just hide the parts that we want to not get distracted with. So the first question says determine the distance of AB, in other words, in terms of h. So that's the distance there. We want to work out the distance of AB. Now, what we need to consider is that this is a right angle triangle. So notice I highlighted it in red to make sure that we don't let the other triangles confuse us. That's a vertical triangle. This is the angle of depression. That's your eye level. That is parallel to the ground. Okay? So in triangle ABD, D1 is 90 degrees. Nice to state that for yourself, but the examiner would also appreciate that you're using the solution of right angle triangles. Important fact that in this triangle here, we don't have any angles at the moment. But if that's 30, that's 30 because of alternate angles, eye level parallel to the ground. Remember, it's just what? 2 marks. So we're not going to obviously write a lot of stories. So sine of angle ABD is equal to AD over AB. It's very important to write all this down. Don't rush through your solution. So you get a kind of thought flow in terms of your simple basic trig of grade 10. Opposite over hypotenuse. Fill everything in. Remember special angle. Use your calculator. So sine of 30 degrees is equal to h over AB. Therefore half is equal to h over AB. Cross multiply. AB is equal to 2x. Straightforward, 2 marks. Get the angles, get a trig ratio. Good example because it's using solution of triangle. The question one must ask, why did we find AB? Because the next question we want to find a kind of identity question. Let's block the solution out. So the identity question will give you an idea basically what we want to find. Now if you look at this question, it says find BC, show that BC is equal to h square root of 25 minus 24 cos squared x. Immediately square root, immediately cosine rule, because you got a square root to sine. So now we're going to focus on this triangle ABC. You could highlight it there so that you don't get confused. And once again, you need to block out all the other triangles. Remember, 7 marks. So you've got about 7 minutes. So you've got enough time to think about it. Don't get flustered, one stitch at a time. Remember, we worked this out to be 2h from the previous question. Okay, there's 2h. Right. Now that we know this, we got two sides and an included angle. Voila, cosine rule. Okay, and we got this angle, so we want to use that. So let's start. Okay, what I explained here is to find out where is BC. BC is found in two triangles. It's found in triangle ABC and in triangle BDC, but there's nothing, no angles, no side, so we would not consider that. In triangle ABC, state the cosine rule. In terms of this, again, very, very useful. No small letters, because it will confuse the person who's marking your script. So BC squared is equal to AB squared plus AC squared minus 2AB times AC times cos of angle BAC. Clearly, but all the information that you have, AB squared is 2H all squared plus 3H all squared for AC minus 2 into, this is important, don't make that mistake, watch the negative signs, minus 2 into 2H times 3H times cos of 2x. Once again, special angles. Please note that in your answer it has cos squared. Remember, you got a formula that says cos of 2a is equal to 2 cos squared a minus 1. Use this rather than using the other two, because the other two required sine. There's no sine here, so that's a telltale. Once again, similar to example number 3 of notes. Please go over it. Okay, that's example number 3 of the notes. It's quite important that you read that first before you attempt this question. Do some algebra here. That's 4x squared, that's 9x squared. Multiply this out. Be very careful. Multiply. Once again, grade 10 skills of products. 2 times 2 is 4 times 3 is 12, which is minus, and h times h is 8 squared. Use that formula. For a moment now, you can't interact and say and do this part and add and subtract, because this is 1 term, 2 term, and this is 3 terms. There are no like terms yet. So what you do is you multiply. You can add these two and you'll get 13h squared. Then you multiply this out and get minus 24h squared times cos squared x. Be careful, squares are flying around. Plus, and I made this mistake earlier, plus negative 12h squared times minus 1 is positive 12h squared. Be careful. And when you add all your like terms now, you're going to get 25h squared minus 24h squared times cos squared h. We're getting there. We're getting there. Remember, this is BC squared. Therefore, BC is equal to the square root of this whole expression here, 25h squared minus 24h squared times cos squared h or x, and then you can remove an h squared out. Okay, there's a bracket here missing, and therefore you're going to get h squared into 25 minus 24 cos squared x. When you find the square root, third rules, square root, the h squared can come out and you get your final answer. Not so bad. My recommendation, you got 2 examples here, 2019, 2018. Study the 3 examples that we have. That's it. Don't do too many other work, rather concentrate on our next section. And our next section is analytic geometry. I'm going to create a video for you for an example using all the grade 11 analytical formulas. So in your final examination, you're going to get a grade 11 exclusive question and a grade 12 exclusive question. The grade 12 exclusive question would incorporate the knowledge of circles that we've learned in grade 11. Interesting, a little bit challenging, but I know you can manage. Wait for the video on Monday or Tuesday. I think Tuesday is ideal. Thank you. Have a good day. All the best.